Good morning, rise and shine. Happy Tuesday. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I will give it some time to let some of you come on in to get the notifications. We got a lot to talk about this morning on today's episode of Car Chronicles. The topic. Good morning, Dr. J. Good morning. Good morning. Hopefully the trolls aren't too bad. I wasn't able to pre-schedule this video. That's the only way I can kind of change the mod settings. I can't do it from my phone. So just get them out of there. Do what you do. Do what you do. I sent you an email, so hopefully you got that last night. But education, we're talking education. Please plug your channel, Dr. J. Put it in there. Definitely plug your channel. We're talking about education. Great topic. Education, politics, they grab people's attention. Just know that. Keep that in mind. Come on in, like the video. There's some updates I want to share with you, some things that I learned this morning when I woke up. Um, yeah, this year Cinco de Mayo has just a lot of new meanings. You're welcome, Dr. J. Cinco de Mayo has a lot of new meaning this year. Cinco de Mayo this year. Let me run down what May 5th means for me. So, Cinco de Mayo, of course, May 5th. Come on in. May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. I'm going to need for you all to be aware of it being not only a day of celebration for the Latin culture, but listen, Trump said, listen, we got a new meaning this year for Cinco de Mayo. We have a new meaning. So I'm going to need for you guys to come to know the new meaning of Cinco de Mayo this year, May 5th, 2025. Come on in. We're going to talk about it. This will impact any of you who have student loans and you haven't been paying on them. And it's not that you just come on in. We got some things to talk about. It's layered. It's layered. Like the video, double tap the screen. Double tap the screen. Just rock with me. Just rock with me. Just rock with me. Student loans. How many of you have a student loan out there? How many of you are current on your student loans? Let's talk about that. How many of you are in default on your student loans? Because for those of you who have student loans out there, you've fallen behind. Um, this will likely impact you. This change that's going to take effect May 5th to student loans in the USA. Double tap the screen. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. So, on May 5th, the Trump administration is coming for people who have student loans and who are in default. And what this means is that if you are in default on your student loans where you hadn't been paying on them, you can very likely wind up in a situation where your checks are being money is being garnished from your checks to start paying back your student loans. I repeat, if you have student loans out there and you are in default, come May 5th, you could very well likely start receive some type of communication because these changes are supposed to take effect May 5th. So I'm thinking that I wouldn't think that May 5th would be a day that garnishments or like anything like that would take effect, but those who would be impacted, to me, it sounds like you may start receiving notifications via your email, the U.S. Postal Service, saying, hey, we show on record that you are in default of your student loans. We show that you still owe this amount. And we are basically demanding that you start paying it back at this amount. And if you do not pay it back at this amount or are unable to, these are the repercussions. And one of them being garnishment of your wages. So what that means, some of you may think like, well, Sheik, what do you mean garnishment of wages? What you talking about? So that just means that they will basically get your check before you do from your employer. So they will, learn, get all the information. It's not hard for them to find. Remember, it's the government. They will identify, like, come to learn, like, where you work, all of that, and go through your employer to start get their money back through your paycheck. So you know how in your paycheck they taking out health care. Um, you may have a flexible spending account where they're taking out money to be allotted to that. Some of you may have an account where like you have monies for like your daycare, your child's daycare may come out and go on like a specific like almost like a debit card like that. These are like monies that are coming out. Like sometimes monies come out before your tax, sometimes it's after your tax, but it's things that just they're taking out before you get yours, before you get your deposit. These monies are removed. They're proactive. So Trump like, well, we about to be proactive too. We gonna proactively go into your check and get our money, because I know that these previous administrations have told y'all, listen, you ain't got to pay your student loan back. We going to put it on pause. F that. He like, forget, listen, they was on some other type of stuff. They was delusional. So we about to do something different. We about to start back paying it back. And so here's the thing with that, that I learned that since 2020, many borrowers, um, their payment plan, like it's been on hold, like where they hadn't had to make payments and things like that since 2020. So that's pretty much going back to like the pandemic, since people have had to make payments. So now think about it, some of you haven't probably made payments since what, pre-pandemic, probably 2019. Maybe some of you made a payment in 2020, but a lot of you haven't made a payment since 2020. So he's like, all right, then, player. All right, you done had your little break. I mean, 21, 2, 3, we 5 years. You done had your little vacation. I hope you've been saving up money, and putting it to the side, because come Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, because that's Cinco de Mayo. Ain't somebody here May 5th? That's Cinco de Mayo to me. I associate May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. So come Cinco de Mayo, I'm going to need for you to come up off that money and start paying back these student loans. And if you don't, and you are in default, come to be in default, we will get our money by garnishing your check. Period. Listen, that's all he said. It ain't even a lot of listen, that he like, it's just what you need to know. Caroline might go on, she might do a little press conference this week talking about it, because I would imagine I will hope that one of those reporters will inquire with her about that, because to me that's big. That's huge. And I didn't know that this was something that was coming, as far as where there was like a date or something associated with people um, paying back student loans, people who are in default, uh, getting check money garnished. Like, I didn't know that was a thing that was about to like happen come Cinco de Mayo. So I would think this week there'll be some people questioning the Trump administration about that, because anything centered around education right now is just getting a lot of attention, because people are really concerned about funding. Like, people are concerned about funding, there being like enough money um, for the local schools, like in your state. um, the federal funding, all these changes, it has people's attention, rightfully so. And so I know it had my attention, because I have a son who's in college. So, and then I have two kids in high school. So it had my attention, and I've talked about it on this channel. If you like, share, subscribe. So if you've listened to any of my content, you've heard me express my concerns centered around the Department of Education, and how it's going to impact like the student loans and things like that, because I have a son in college. So it has my attention. It has my attention because I'm also someone who holds student loans. I have a lot of education things, so I hold student loans, and my son's in college, and then I have a son who's a junior in high school. So in a year, pretty much next fall, he would be going into college. So I'm like, y'all need to understand these laws, these changes, these things is about to take effect, because some of you got these trips. It's getting hot out here. It's hot outside. It's hot outside. You got Memorial Weekend coming up. You got the 4th of July coming up. And y'all trying to go out and see something. Y'all trying to see something. Y'all trying to go be door exploring, DA. Go out here in these streets, because you got you that money that you used to maybe pay towards student loans. Some of y'all probably ain't never even paid on your student loans. But anyway, President, like, listen here. No more parlaying on the government dime. I'm gonna need for you to come up off of that money, pay this bill, and then whatever you got left over, the $50 that you got left over. Listen, you might just need to go on and go to the casino for your entertainment. That's probably all you're gonna be able to do with the $50. Is go and roll up to the casinos, and hope that you can turn that 50 into 5,000, 50,000. Because what he said, them days of parlaying, uh Cinco de Mayo. Some of y'all got plans for Cinco de Mayo. I'm letting you know before you go on out there and put all that money on the margaritas. Y'all know y'all get to drinking and doing the absolute most. I'm letting you know that man talking about, okay, well, you better spend your money wisely, because we coming for you. We need ours. We need ours. And if you wanna think we playing, just go ahead and not pay your bill. Go ahead and not pay your bill, because we coming for you. We gonna get that check. And we not gonna care that you only got $20 left until the next pay period. Y'all know when people get to garnishing your checks, they do not care how much you have left. Fortunately, I've never experienced that. But one thing I do know, they're not caring about what you have left over after they get theirs. After they get theirs, they are not giving. They're not. They're not. So, what I would recommend for you all to do is to start having conversations with whoever the loan holder is for who has your student loans, whoever you have them finance with. Start consolidating. Child, do what you got to do. Get on the phone, call some people, get to Googling, get some payment plans in place, because the Trump administration is coming for you March 5th, 2025, Cinco de Mayo. And he's like, listen here. Listen here, Linda, listen here. I know you got them 5 kids. I know your hours then got cut at that job, but we need ours, and we see that you ain't made no payments since 2020, or even before then, or maybe never. So we're gonna need for you to start making the payment. And if you don't, we coming for your check. That is the memo that I woke up to this morning. Y'all, I don't be making this issue up. I promise you I don't. But I will certainly come here and bring the information to you. So if you are here for that, because it's always for your better good. When you know better, you're able to do better, right? Like, share, subscribe. I am bringing this information to you because this is where we are. March 5th, Cinco de Mayo, y'all. It's got, listen, listen, we dual. It's a dual meaning on March 5th. Cinco de Mayo and Trump collecting on default student loans. So default student loan is basically you ain't paid, you behind on your payments. In the system is showing you are behind. That is default student loans. Yeah. So here's the kicker with that. With Trump wanting to aggressively come for those with student loans. I learned that during the Bush administration, they had put a program into place. What's the name of that program? Let me see. He had put a program. This is going back to 2000. This is George W. Bush. This is going back to 2007. 2007. The PSLF. That stands for Public Service Loan Forgiveness. How many of y'all are aware of the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program? How many of you are aware of that? So let me explain what that is. Back in 2007, underneath the George W. Bush regime, he implemented a program called PSLF, Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. And the purpose of that program was to incentivize people to work for the government and take on positions that don't really make money like that. Where y'all know sometimes you go in some environments, like some places, some sectors, maybe a government sector, they'll pay you a little something, but if you go to private, it'll like pay you more. So this was what the government's mindset was like, yo, come over here, work for us through this PSLF program, Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. Work for us for like 10 years, make your student loan payments, and we'll forgive all else. We will forgive all else. Like, that's the incentive. Work for us, we'll forgive your loans after you've worked for us for like 10 years. And a lot of times these jobs, these positions, like these positions, good morning, Yolanda. These positions are like teaching positions, nurses, firefighters, lawyers, doctors. These are positions. And a lot of these positions are positions that often require you to have like higher degrees, like higher level education, right? That's student loans. So it's like, okay, if you want me to become educated and like really versed and skilled in these areas, I have to go back to school and further my education, right? Which means that I'm going to have to accumulate more student loans. Government, Bush, you do understand that, right? Well, yes, Sheik, I understand that. So because this is what I'm asking for you to do, this is the assignment, I am willing to forgive a heavy portion of your student loans because I am asking for you to do this. Because we have a shortage, we have a strong need for people, professionals in these fields. Like I said, teachers, nurses, firefighters, lawyers, doctors. So these people are like, all right then, Bush, bet. Fine. All right then. I'll go sit back in that classroom again, accumulate these student loans, but don't be playing with my money. You don't play with me. Make sure you take care of these student loans. Bet. That was the deal started at that plan, that contract that came about in 2007. It still has been on record up until now, 2025, until Trump re-enters the chat. So Trump is now wanting to basically make some drastic changes to that program and regulate what basically what divisions, who can basically participate in that program, as far as like the business, the companies, the sectors within government who are offering these opportunities to people. So they're just, some, they might be like, nah, we don't feel like your division needs to offer such thing, or yeah, it's good for over here. So the problem with that is that some people have already gone to college under the notion that after 10 years, their student loans would be forgiven because they would have worked for these government, like military, they would have done these jobs in the military or other government jobs. But remember, the promise was, hey, you work here for 10 years. We got you. Boo, we got you. 10 years. Just give me 10 years. We got you. So Trump's coming in and trying to like interrupt that, like, wait, hold up, chemo sign, but we can't be paying all. No. So people who are already within their, that is this agreement, like either, still in school, or some of them maybe already finished school, and these loans are still out there and they're still within the 10 years of, we're trying to work towards things getting forgiven because the 10 years haven't come up for them for the rest of their balance to be wiped out. They're still kind of, working the system. Trump, like, nah, he's trying to kind of interfere with that and adjust that. And that's effing people up, because it's just like, wait a minute, I wouldn't have even enrolled in this degree program if it weren't for this program, the PSLF, the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. I like, think about it, you all. If someone tells you, hey, go back to school, get a master's degree, so maybe it's in education, they like, yo, chic, go back to school, get a master's degree, we will pay for it. You just go do your thing. Do your thing, boo. Do your thing. Go do your thing. Do well. Come back. We got a job for you. Work for us for just 10 years. We got you. We going to go ahead. While you work for us for 10 years, you're paying whatever, your portion towards your student loans, whatever. Once 10 years come, the rest, whatever that's there, like, we're going to go ahead and just pay it. Like, you ain't got to worry about it. It's gone. So if someone's telling me that, I'm like, then then bet. Then I can rock with y'all for this. I can rock with y'all for 10 years. But if somebody come to me and be like, Yoshi, I want you to come work for me, but you need to go get a higher degree. You need to get a master's degree. And and I'm looking at you like, okay, well, that costs money. I can't afford that. I can't afford to get a master's degree. And you said, how much you gonna pay me? You said you're gonna pay me 50,000? Nah, that math ain't math, and I can't afford that. I can't afford to live off the 50,000, and then with this student, I can't afford it. Are you trying to help me pay? No, well, we ain't got it. I ain't got it either. You see what I'm saying? It changes the conversation. You ain't got it, I ain't got it. We just ain't got it. If you can't work with me with what I'm bringing to the table, then we just can't work together, because I don't have it to go and I can't afford to go and accumulate any more student loans. So this is, a lot of people have felt this way. And so this program, they knew they had to come correct with people. If you finna come to somebody, look them in the eye and be like, yo, yeah, I'm gonna need for you to go back to school and get a doctorate. Say what? Like, because it's gonna take time, effort, energy, the stress, like all of that. It has to make sense, right? And they're like, yo, but listen, don't cuss me out just yet. I got you. I'm gonna pay for it. Go do your thing. You work for us for like 10 years in this sector for the government. You probably can move around into different positions, but you stay kind of tapped in with the government for 10 years. We gonna take care of whatever else you got, that balance. We got you. All right, then now you talking. Why you didn't lead with that? You should have started the conversation with that. Why you got my blood pressure high? You should have led with that. But anyway, I hear you. I hear you. Bet. So that's what happened. A lot of people signed up for this, and it's like, yo, okay, I'm going to do this. So now this makes sense too with why probably we see a lot of people who are government employees because they got in on something like this. That's a wonderful incentive. It wasn't something I was really aware of. I don't know if it would have made a difference for me or not, but this is like, I'm like, okay, this is like new information that I learned, this morning. So I'm like, okay. So now it's like Trump's like, yo, like, we ain't finna be doing all that now. I mean, I know what them folks done told you. I know what them folks done told you, but yeah, we ain't got it like that. We on our Tasha K. We ain't got it. I know we didn't gave the bag to Ukraine, but we ain't got it. Hell, that's why we ain't got it, because we gave the bag to Ukraine and everybody else for however long we didn't gave it to. So y'all know when it comes to American people, they gonna tell you with the quickness what they ain't got. But when it comes to these countries that are in need, that's trying to fight somebody, what Tupac said, we got money for war, but can't feed the poor. Y'all know that still stands true. That man been gone, what, 30 years? How long that man been gone? Because I think he died around 25. He been gone for a minute now. That line still rings truth. Like, it's crazy, yo. It's crazy. We're in 2025, and the line, we got money for war, but can't feed the poor, is still true. Trump, like, listen, we ain't got it. So because we ain't got it, we gonna need for you to do your part. You went and signed up to get all these degrees. Now, I know y'all saying y'all ain't making no money, the jobs ain't out there, but because y'all know, nobody don't want to deep dive into that part, how the jobs aren't out there. Y'all know we were sold on a dream, including myself, where I remember, I graduated high school in 99. During that era in the 90s, I was sold on the dream, that thought, the ideology, that whatever you want to call it, that by going to college, basically you're gonna have the good life. Like, y'all remember back in the days, you got TV shows. This is what they pushed. This is what the push was. Go to college, get a degree. A lot of the television shows, the popular sitcoms, it was centered around like conversations about college, higher education. And remember when you had the Cosby Show, then you had the Different World. Like, that was the era I grew up watching things like that, where talks of college was just a part of the conversation in the script regularly on television. And then I live in the South. I live in Georgia. I'm from California. So when I moved to Georgia when I was about 15, I was in high school. I did 10th, 11th, 12th grade here in Georgia. And I've still remained, stayed and living in Georgia. So everything was just about higher learning, higher education. If you all are not familiar with Atlanta, Georgia, baby, this is a place where you will see so many educated people that look like me. Degrees on deck. I'm one of them. I got all that, and it's what was pushed. This is what you need. You got to get this in order to get to that. And so we went with that. And many of us, while we were in college, working to get to the bag, working to get to it, as we were getting the lower degrees, before, your associates, your bachelor's, and wrapping up our degree program, we were seeing that, okay, well, I completed this program, but it still don't look like I'm getting to it. I'm getting to the bag. So maybe I need to stay a little longer. Maybe I need to get another degree. How many? I know I wasn't the only one thinking that way. Don't try to act like I'm the only one thinking that, okay, the more degrees I get, the better chance that I will have in the workforce. The more money I will make. Don't y'all ain't finna act like this. Double tap this screen. Don't act like that. When I earned my first, when I earned my bachelor's degree, I said, you know what? I got to keep going. And this was in mid 2000s, maybe about 2008ish. I was like, 2007. I was like, I got to keep going because I got to be able. This stopping here is not going to be enough. I got to get a master's. I got to keep going. I can't afford to stop because guess what? When you stop, what comes? You stop, the bill comes. Y'all know how this thing go. When you stop, the bill comes. They give you, some of them will give you a little couple of months grace period, maybe 6 months, but baby, and within about 6 months, you getting that bill. So I'm like, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. I got these kids. I gotta keep going. Let me see what this master's degree talking about. Let me go and keep going and get another degree. That is what I did, y'all. I promise you, it wasn't my goal to get an MBA, but based off of the market, I felt like it was necessary for me to get it because what I was being told and the dream that was being sold was that it was necessary in order to get to the bag. How many of y'all got defrauded on that one? So I did it. And so I'm like, okay, so I got that degree. And I'm like, okay. And right after I got that degree, I got laid off for the second time in my life, in my career. So in 2011, I my management didn't even have a master's degree. My manager didn't. Like, there was no one on my team who I worked with. No one had them. I completed my education while working on that job. Nobody I worked with alongside of me had anything above a bachelor's, including my manager. I had the master's. I was laid off. I was employed for a full year with an MBA. Sure was. Sure was. That was during the time when I learned that when the job market went bad, the biggest impact was to middle class. Back when that was when that middle class was trying to phase out. That was the biggest impact. Like that group of people, your middle class. So the jobs that were out there was going to be the lower paying minimum wage jobs, and then you may have had, you got the rich folks. But most of the people, a lot of the people were falling in that middle class, like those corporate people, the people who work in the office, the white collar jobs. Those were the people during that time, like 2010, 2013, like during that time. Those were the people, that group, that class that were losing their jobs, and they were competing against one another out in the job market. So you had a lot of educated people like myself, as the saying goes, that couldn't even buy a job. So for me, it was mental. Then y'all, this is before I went. This was before I went back to school and got a degree in a second degree in mental health, clinical mental health counseling. So I wasn't aware like that when it came to like mental health and all that. That was before then. So this is when I was building my resume and just as a businesswoman and business degrees and all of that. So follow me. This is all business. This is the business path right now. So I'm like, well, damn, I got all this education and I can't get a job. And then when I do get a job, I'm not making the money to even be able to afford to even try to pay back whatever for these student loans and think, come on, who else can relate where you done went and got these skills, got this education, and the job market, like the math ain't mathing. It's not mathing. You've invested in yourself. You've worked hard. You've done well. Y'all looking at an honor student, legit honor student, dean's list. This was your girl. And so you got all that, but the money ain't there. So you're like, wait a minute. They didn't say that in a different world, in the Cosby show. Listen, Dr. Cosby did not say this was gonna be my situation when I called myself trying to go to them colleges that he was trying to send his kids to. They did not say. So I'm like, okay, this ain't it. This is not it. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. And I started having conversations with other people who felt the same way. And many people who started, some people would just get so mad to where they like, listen, I'm not going to even take my last to try to pay for this student loan when I got to live. I got kids, I got bills, I got responsibilities, and I'm not even making the money that I was told that I would make as a result of going to get these jobs. How many of y'all went to school and maybe y'all was sold on the idea of maybe the schools even helping you with job placement? How did that work out for you? So there's a lot of these antics, these ways that they kind of grab your attention and get you in. And then once you're in, you see that it was a hustle, it was a play. And listen here, Linda, listen here. You can think you want to drop out, quit if you want to, but guess what? That's still there. Bro, Lane, you got your hand. Listen, we got two hands raised up. Raise your hands and your feet. Don't think that just because you think you finna get in your feelings and say, fine, F it, I'm not going no more, that bill finna go away. Oh, no, no, no. You the one that he finna holler at on Cinco de Mayo while you having margaritas. You gonna check your email and see a nice little note from your president if you in the USA talking about, let me holler at you. Let me holler at you, sis. Let me holler at you, bro. And so this is the place that many Americans are in. And it's not that people don't want to pay their bill. It ain't that. Most people, if they got it, they're more than willing to pay their bill. That's any bill. What happens is that people don't have it. So when they don't have it, then it's not getting paid, right? That's how it works. And so people who are in college and have their friends who they're like, yo, it's not that we don't want to pay our bills. I know friends, including myself, to where we work multiple jobs and trying to pay bills and food and survive, we just can't afford it. Or we're trying to do the best we can, and the amount that they want us to pay, we can't afford it. How many of y'all have gotten y'all feelings hurt going out there trying to get a daggone mortgage loan? How many of y'all have gone out and tried to get a mortgage loan and they hit you with the conversation centered around your student loans? Because, baby, here in the US of A, when you are getting a loan, an FHA loan, then you got the conventional loans, things like that. They have to factor in your student loan payments. Go on, cry. Some of y'all probably cried. The house that I bought, my husband and I bought in 2018. Let me tell you the story behind how that became our house. That house, it was a house that was built from the ground up. It was built from the ground up, from the vision, from the dream of a college educated woman who, at the time when she signed the contract, did all that you do, those stages when you showing your documents, you picking out whatever for the house. Y'all know if you've all purchased a home or been through the process, it's a process. You got to show all kinds of paperwork, receipts, all of that. And you know that throughout the entire process, they spin the block, meaning that they will double check, triple check. They're constantly checking your information to make sure there are no changes, meaning no changes to your income, no changes to your qualification of the loan. Like they're checking all of that, your credit. So they tell you, listen, don't go buying ish during this process. Some of y'all probably got effed up by trying to go buy that furniture too early or that car. When that agent they done told y'all don't go buying nothing. But listen, you think fat meat ain't greasy. So during her process, she was following all the rules and everything. And then her student loans updated on her credit report. So now the new amount, the update to her credit report pertaining to her student loans now changed how she was viewed as a potential loan holder. Like it changed the situation. They like, wait a minute, okay, this changed the game. We see now that you owe more money than what we thought you did, or maybe they didn't see it before. I don't know. But nonetheless, the update to her credit and her financial situation was centered around her student loans being entered into the check. So therefore, she no longer qualified for the home. She couldn't buy it anymore because now the lender's like, yo, like this right here change, it's got you effed up. And she couldn't figure out a way to work around it. So she lost out. At best, maybe my builder was pretty cool, like gave her maybe her back her earnest money, but any like monies, like y'all, she put a lot of money. I think she had about $30,000 of upgrades, y'all, that she had put into the house. And yes, it was her dream home, but she couldn't follow through. So when my husband and I were out looking for a home, we came across, that home, and we learned the situation, and it was about 45 days away from closing. So we had just that length of time to just get all of our fares and everything in order. So therefore we could, qualify to buy the home. But that is the story of, when people see my home, how it looks, the details of it. It was that, from the vision of a woman who set out to build her dream home. And in the final hour, she got she she got messed up by her student loans. Most people don't even get as far as her. That the student loans hold them back from at the time they complete the application. Because with FHA, it was like 3%. They when they factor in your student loan payments, they're factoring in 3% of your income, like going towards student loan. And then I think with conventional was like maybe 1%. So this is kind of how it was before, or whatever. Not sure what they're doing now, but that's how it was then when I was purchasing a home. So a lot of people right now, they can't kind of progress in life when it comes to like making these purchases, like the dream of buying a home, because of their student loans. Because even though say that they can afford to make that payment, because a lot of people's rent is more than a mortgage. Like really think about it. That's the crazy part about it. A lot of people's rent, what they were paying, is more than their mortgage. But when you're getting a mortgage, they're viewing you differently than when you're going out to sign a contract, at least for rent. So because they're viewing you differently, more harshly, they're looking for you. They're factoring in a certain percentage. Like they're looking for you to, like, they want to make sure that you can just without a doubt pay this mortgage, no matter like what may happen. You gonna still be able to pay this mortgage. They just looking at everything with a fine-tooth comb, because the goal is for you to not default. The goal is for you to keep you in that home. And so a lot of people, it's like, well, dang, if I can only get the house, get in there, I know I can pay it. But even though on paper, it's like, okay, I know on paper it look a little tight, I know. But you don't understand how I know how to make it do what it do. you don't understand. So these banks, They ain't going off of your lip service and you talking about, listen, I thought I'd make $1 out of 15 cents. Oh, it's gonna get paid. They're going off of on paper. Can they see how it's going to get paid? And if they don't see how it's going to get paid every month without it being to them looking like a struggle, then they're not going to sign off on you getting that loan. And a lot of people, they get the loan, they get in the house, and they doing good until one bad moment, one bad day, a hiccup. Y'all know life be lifing. And now you then missed the payment. And that 1 month then threw you off. And now you kind of behind 2 months. Y'all know it's just a domino effect. And so you fall behind and you struggle to find your footing. You struggle to find your footing. And then some of you, you were good, you were Gucci up until you got in that house. And then when you start trying to hold on to the house, then your loan, your college loan, your payments fell behind because you knew you had to be really, really on top of things to get the house. But then once you got the house, you got comfortable and it's like, I'll put that off. Or like something just happened to where you just couldn't pay it. But nonetheless, it didn't get paid. So then you fall behind and now you so behind to where you can't see a way out. So you're in default. And many of you have thought like, well, yeah, I got my house. It's okay. Until it's not. Until Cinco de Mayo 2025 come and then you're reminded of that bill that you have ignored for Lord knows how long. And it wasn't rooted and you just simply not wanting to pay it. It was rooted because you was on your Tasha K. I ain't got it. You didn't have it. Y'all know it's like when I got it, you got it. If you ain't got it, I mean I ain't got it, right? But these bill collectors, they ain't trying to hear that. They're not trying to hear that. And especially with this Trump administration and this Doge, and they're doing all these audits and trying to find these monies to move around and reallocate people losing jobs. Y'all, it runs deep and I understand and I get it. I understand and I get it. The question is, does your federal government understand? Does your federal government get it? Does your federal government care? These are the questions. These are the questions. Because the way things are moving right now, it's not really a lot of empathy being shown for the American people. It's just like, listen, we standing on business. We need to fix this. We got to find this money. Many people have taken out loans. It's in the billions. It's in the billions of loans. 3 million borrowers on May 5th stand to be impacted by this change. Are you one of them? Are you one of them? That's the question. So with that being said, I want to talk about a woman that I also learned about. Someone shared the story with me last night, and this morning I researched her to learn more about her. So there's a woman, again, Maryland. Y'all, it's so funny. Ever since I've gone to DC and I stayed in Maryland. Kilbar Abrego Garcia. Remember, he's the prisoner that's in El Salvador. He resided in Maryland before they put him on the doggone Spirit flight and flew him over one way to El Salvador. So Maryland has been a theme. So here's a woman who did reside in Maryland. She passed away. You all can let me know in the comments if you are familiar with her story, because she passed away February 18th, 2025. And I listened to another content creator share her story. Her name was Monique Lockett. She was 53 and she worked for the Social Security Administration. She worked in for the government. She had a government job. So one day while at work, she got to work. She was physically there. She went to her desk, closed her eyes, and never opened them again. She worked for Social Security Administration for 25 years. She was 5 years away from retiring. She was a stellar employee, her team says. She worked in the IT division. They said she was just really good. She cared about everybody. And her family say that she was really stressed about the idea of losing her job, possibly losing her job. Because you all know when Trump, soon after he got inaugurated, he just went to work with, slashing jobs, throwing it out there. Listen, letting folks know that your job is on the you on the chopping block. Like, he didn't waste no time. So she was stressed. She was stressed. This woman was stressed. She was like, Lord Jesus, fix it. Mental health is real. That's why I say you got to take care of yourself. So this woman also, the autopsy showed that she died of hypertensive cardiovascular disease, which caused a buildup in her arteries, and she also had high blood pressure. So she's someone who had all these these conditions. She was overweight. She had all these conditions. So the added stress is believed is what took her out. The added stress, because her body physically was already in distress. So because she was basically already physically not in a good place, she really couldn't stand to have any added pressures on that level onto her body, because she wasn't in the best health condition. She wasn't. So the stress kind of just, it took her over. And so the content creator who I was listening to, he was saying he was talking to another woman who was a government worker, and she talked about how she was worried because she could no longer pay for her son's college tuition, because she has to now focus on her retirement and her future, because she's going to eventually not be able to work and she's going to need to still live. So she can't afford to pay college tuition while still saving for tomorrow. How many of you all, you ain't got it like that to focus on today and tomorrow? You trying to make it do in real time, because you're not fortunate enough to be able to put money away for a rainy day. Some of you can't even loans all day. This woman was paying for college, but she's like, yo, like, I gotta pay now. I gotta focus on my retirement because I can't do both. I can't afford it.